Welcome to Start Before You're Ready, the podcast that proves that you don't need to wait for the perfect moment to begin your journey towards better health and happiness. I'm your host, Kelly Young. Remember, the first step is often the hardest, but it's always worth taking. Hey guys, it's Kelly, and I am back with the first episode of Start Before You're Ready in 2026. Happy New Year. I was so excited to say that this was the last episode of 2025, but I realized that by the time you hear this, it's going to be 2026, which is super exciting. And I just want to start by saying thank you for all of the feedback that you have given this podcast. I am so grateful that there's an audience. Really, there's an audience. There's people that like it. There's people that look forward to it and listen to it and share it and talk about it. And that is incredible. That is really more than I could have asked for. And I think it's adding value. I really do. I think it's adding value. We're learning more about people that we're inspiring to be like, or other people are inspiring us. And there's just so much happening in this podcast. I am learning so much. And it's fun learning. It's not like stressful learning. It's fun. It's talking to people. It's having real conversations. And it's feeling like I'm doing something important and significant and scary and hard. And I love it. And I'm here to tell you for 2026, you need to feel like you are doing something significant. And it doesn't need to be beyond your own family or beyond yourself. It could just be something that you feel like matters. It matters to you. It matters to you. It doesn't need to matter to the rest of the world. It needs to matter to you. So I hope that as you've been thinking about your new year and what you want more of, I hope that you are feeling that. I hope that you are thinking of things that bring you joy and that light you up and that make you feel good. Because when you feel good, you do good. You feel good, you do good. And I want to talk to you today. Well, there's a lot of things I want to talk to you about. I'm a little nervous about all the things I want to talk to you about. But I want to start with some of the things that we just finished up as a community in 2025. In fact, I'm acting all happy right now, but I was very, until I just turned this camera on, I was pretty miserable. I was sitting in front of the fire. I don't know why, because it was hot and I just wanted to finish. I'd been working on this post, a social media post. I mean, it's more than a social media post because I didn't get all the pictures and it was just a lot. It was a lot. It took me way longer than I thought it was going to. It's actually pretty funny. I was working on it and I said, I forgot why I needed to be done by 2, but I need to be done by 2. And it was just kind of the beginning of it. And I was like, I'm going to share this with my mastermind. Like, this is such a great thing. I'm going on to everyone's LinkedIn. I'm looking at their pictures. I'm seeing what people did. And it's not taking me that long. I'm cruising through this. I'm doing this fast. This is valuable. And my community is going to appreciate getting shout outs. And I'm thinking all these things. Oh, that was days ago. That finish was days ago. I've been working on it. I keep telling people, it's coming out, all the winners, the squad winners, all the things. But it took me way longer than I thought it was going to. But what does that mean? That means right now, I'm so happy that I finished something that was hard. It shouldn't have been hard, but there was lots of little pictures and the names would get cut off and then I'd screw something up and then I'd start out. It's just a whole thing. So why was this so important to me to spend what a lot of people consider a holiday week, so much of my time doing this post? This program is a year-long accountability program. For some people, it's a 4-year-long accountability program because they've been doing it for multiple years. We joke when we finish in December, because I've done it because I want to experience the heart of it so I don't lose sight of how awesome it is that these people finish. And every year I finish in December, I'm like, thank God I'm done with this. And then I'm like, wait a minute. It starts again in January. It just keeps going. It's like life. It just keeps going, hopefully. But we are using the InBody machine, and you could use other tracking devices. This is just what we're using to measure our body composition, make sure we're not losing muscle. In some cases, people have weight to lose, real weight to lose. They're trying to get some fat off. In other cases, they're really just trying to maintain and they don't want to have that little out of control. So every month, without fail, Within the first week of the month, they get on the InBody bioelectrical impedance scale and they record their data, and we track it for the year. And we also have some accountability. And one of the things that I want to talk about to you today is we all need accountability, you guys. The reason why so many of our programs involve accountability and you have to turn it in is because I wouldn't do anything if I didn't have to turn it in. I'm not afraid to say that. And I'm considering myself motivated, disciplined. I just need accountability to finish stuff. I just need accountability. There's so much to do. And if it's something that's really important to me, that I think really matters and really needs to get done, I need to be accountable to somebody. That's just what I need. So I love to create these programs, affordable programs, long-term, where people have that accountability. And one of the things that we added 2 years ago was squads. And what a squad is so instead of there's a whole group, and there was 60 of us, but there's a whole group, but you have a small group, 4 or 5 people that you text with at the beginning of every month and just say, hey, the squad leader really initiates the communication, and they send a message out to everybody and say, did you get your test done, or how was it? And sometimes people are like, oh, it was terrible and blah, blah, blah. But good, you gotta talk to your friends about it and have a little powwow about it. Or sometimes people didn't respond. Squad leader said, oh, Kelly, a lot of people didn't respond, but they got it done. It's just like anything else. But the next layer that we added this year was, I don't know if anyone really cared about this or not. I just announced the winners literally 10 seconds ago, and I don't know if anyone cares, but the squad winners. So this was when I said, do you want to sign up for a squad? I did say it is a competition. So if you sign up for a squad and you don't do your tests, your squad's going to be not probably going to win. So I had 2 teams that tied for first. They had an average, I think, of 11.5 readings, meaning that everybody basically on the team did the reading every single month except a couple or one, however it worked. But the team winners are Christine's team, Christine Cure, which is amazing. She's been doing the DW for a really long time and had great success with it. And Andrea Stenberger. Both 2 of my amazing, hardworking, competitive mamas, and I was pretty happy to see their squad win. So congratulations to those 2 squads. And then we also, of course, we acknowledge the squad leaders because that was a big commitment, and that's a volunteer job. They just stepped up to be leaders in the community, which we love to do in our community. We see a lot of that. I think that's one of our strengths, is asking for leadership and having people step up to be leaders. And this year, I think there are a lot of people, I had way more squad leaders than I needed. And I was just like, oh, you did it before. So when I got to too many, I got to just pick people that had never done it before. The other thing that we did was who had the most success with it? Now, the true version of this program is measuring success by whether you do it or not. So if you did 12 months, if you did every month, then you graduated with honors. And we had a lot of people graduate with honors, more than ever. And what's really cool about some of the people that graduated with honors, they have done this program for 2-3 years and never graduated. And this year, they graduated with honors. I love to see people get better. That's just so exciting to me. And I think it feels really good for them. And while that year that they didn't finish might not have felt great, the year that they came back and then finished, it feels even better because you're like, last year I didn't finish, or 2 years in a row I didn't finish, and this year I finished. So another message that I want to give this audience today is give yourself a second chance. Don't keep doing something if it really doesn't matter to you, right? Don't keep saying, I'm going to run a half marathon and then not doing it if you don't really think that that's something you really want to do or it's not that important to you. But if it's something that's really important to you and you didn't have success with it the first go around, try again. Change things, change something like we've been doing with the program, right? We added more accountability, we added competition. Change something, make it non-negotiable. Here's a couple of other things that I learned from this program that I want to share because I think that they can be applied to so many of the things that we do in life. One is when I looked at the people that didn't finish, they were doing really well. So they had 6 or 7 months of good months. Like their numbers were great and they were getting better. And what I suspect happened is on month 8, they didn't have a good month. It was summer, maybe they're on vacation, they got off routine, maybe they missed the week, and then they just never caught up, and then they got off. James Clear, don't miss twice, right? That's why I say you can still graduate without having done every single month. If you do at least 10 months, you can still graduate. We only had a couple people do 10 months. It was either 11 or 12, it seemed like. But so if you got off, usually it was like they were consistent. It wasn't like they missed February or it was like, and then they stopped. That's okay though. I hope they do it again. Because it doesn't, they succeeded. I mean, and I talked to some people were really cool about it. They're like, I got 8, I'm proud of myself. I'm like, awesome. If you're proud of yourself, I'm proud of you. 8's awesome. 8's more than a lot of people did. So that is one thing that I noticed in the program is kind of the trend of like, I could tell the people that if they didn't have a good month, they didn't want to get on. And I get that. But it's almost like if you have a bad month and you got an opportunity the next month to have a good month. And it's not, I mean, I want to say it's accurate, but like sometimes it's just weird. It's just wonky. Like someone will lose 2 pounds of muscle. I'm like, you did not lose 2 pounds of muscle this month. You did not. It's just your water and it's just a funky reading, whatever. Let's just wait and redo it. So that is one of the things that we just finished up. And we've also finished up the My Zone, which we've talked about a lot about that. I haven't even gone on to there yet because today's the last day and I need to look at all the numbers, but we do a year-long accountability program with the My Zone. And then we've just really been celebrating working out through the holidays. I've tried to tell my people every time I see them in the studio, I'm like, you guys are awesome. Like I've taught 6 a.m. the last week or so, and it's been the first class and it hasn't been as big as normal, but there's a lot of people in it. And I'm like, you guys could sleep today, but you want to keep your routine. Next, I'm going to talk about that, keeping your routine. So I hate to complain. I hate complaining, but I just want to say this. I don't know why I'm not stressed. I don't feel stressed. There is a lot going on and I'm getting ready to go on a little trip and just trying to wrap everything up. And I do put a lot of pressure on myself at the end of the year because I do have some ambitious things. And I kind of realized this year that I really need to think about how I can do this different because it really is too much. Like if I was sick or something happened or I don't know how this week would happen. So, but I haven't been sleeping, which is just not normal for me. I'm a pretty good sleeper, not according to my ring. It tells me gives me 70s, whatever. But no, usually I'm like 80s and I've gotten 90s and whatever. But the last couple of days, I really have not been sleeping well. And it just reminded me how much that affects your day. Like I mean, I've kind of just been plugging, I need to get to this. And it was just like, my energy is just so off and bad. And I'm not mad at myself because I wasn't not trying to sleep. I did have a very large meal. Well, it wasn't that large. So last night we went to, and this is so funny. My ring said this to me. My ring said, "Did you have a heavy meal last night?" And I thought that was pretty good. I have the Ultra Human ring and I definitely can't eat a lot and go to bed. Like I don't think anybody should do that. But we went out to dinner as a family and the girls came, Maddie and Rhiannon came. It was awesome. It was a really great dinner. We went to Passion Fish, which has always been my favorite restaurant. And oh my gosh, my kids got so much sushi. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like too much. Like, don't worry, nobody overate. I got like 2 pieces because everyone, you can't overeat in my family because they just grab everything. And I had the scallops and it wasn't like a super heavy dish and I actually didn't even eat. But anyway, not sleeping is a very big deterrent in your productivity, in your energy. So I really want to give the message to dial into your nighttime routine. So the next thing I want to talk about is I've been having meetings for the winter challenge. And this is something that I've always wanted to do. Like I've always wanted to hey, instead of just barreling into the next year and say I'm going to do all these things, let's look back. Let's look back at our 2025 and see what we did right. We have a lot of good practices and things that we did that we definitely want to carry into 2026. And we have a lot of things that like maybe didn't serve us that we don't want to do. But who spends time that week between Christmas and New Year's or the last couple weeks in December reflecting? Like they're too busy. There's so much going on. But I was like, I'd love to kind of do like a forced coaching call with all of my students or anyone. I use the challenge as an audience for this. And it was funny because I was really second guessing it. I'm like, no one's going to want to do this. I'm like, everyone's busy and I've got a bunch of classes and how am I going to schedule this? I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to schedule it. I'm going to schedule like 6 meetings, all different times, some in person, some at my house, some via Zoom. If they come, I mean, I said it was mandatory, but I just said that to shake things up a little bit. They come, they come. If they don't, they don't. And then I was like, oh gosh, I'd really love to do this with the team. I would love like to sit down with the team and kind of reflect on, and this is, it's not for my business. It's personal. It's like, what's your personal, like it's everyone's doing it individually as a person. And then I was like, you know what? I should just invite, like a lot of my teammates do the winter challenge because they love the challenge and it's something they've done in the past and they've had success with it and they think it's fun. And one of the things I love about our workout community so much is that instructors like myself, we do programs too. We need these programs. I do the DW. We need these programs too. We need the accountability. We take classes. Of course we do. Of course we do. So I just put on our group chat for the team. I was like, anyone that wants to come can. And I just, my last meeting this morning, I had Julie and it was so great to have her and her answers were so good. And I was so happy. And she texted me afterwards and was like, that was so awesome. I really needed to do that. And it was really helpful. And it was great. So I did something that I wasn't sure people were going to want to do, that I questioned, and it went really well. So now I'm really happy about it. That's a little theme, okay? You did something you didn't really want to do, you kind of questioned it, but then you did it, and now you're really happy about it. That's a theme. That's a theme. That is my theme. Actually, that is my theme word for 2026. And I don't love my word. I'll tell you my word, but I don't love my word because it's just not a word. It's like a vocab. It's like not a word I would use. I don't even barely know how to spell it. And it's just not a word I would use. But my word for 2026 is audacious. Audacious. Am I even saying it right? Audacious. Doesn't even sound right. Anyway, I chose that word because I think too much about, like, I don't overthink like the podcast or teaching a class or but like when it involves other people, when I'm asking other people to like show up for something, or a lot of times it's like a learning experience or whatever. I'm like, oh, I don't know if they want to do that. Everyone's so busy. I don't know if they want to do that. But then I'm like, you know what? Let them decide, Kelly. Stop spending your energy making decisions for other people. If they want to do it, they will. If they don't, they won't. We're all fine. We're all adults. Our time is precious. We'll do what we want to do. It's not so big deal. So that has like been something that kind of happened at the end of 2025. And I'm really doubling down on it for 2026 because it's what I needed. My energy changed when I started doing this, when I realized the power of this, and that if I just do it anyway and not question it so much and not try to think for other people, then it works. I've just tried to really use my intuition more with people, and it's really working. So I'm really excited about it. I ask my community to share a word. This is something that we've done for a really long time. I credit John Gordon for it, who, by the way, I would like to have on this podcast because I love all of his books. I've read all of his books and I love his messaging. And I just think that he would be a great person to have a conversation with, first of all, about all the things he's accomplished. His story is incredible. There's some parallels in our lives, not parallels, but like he went to Cornell. I went to school in Ithaca, where Cornell is, and he was a lacrosse guy, and my kids obviously all played lacrosse. And his first book was introduced to me by my middle son's lacrosse coach. His college lacrosse coach sent an email and said he wanted the kids to read before they came to school. He wanted them to read Hard Hat, which was John Gordon's book. And I assumed Hard Hat was about a helmet and lacrosse and all that, but it wasn't. It was about something different. It's a great, great book. John Gordon books are awesome. Energy Bus is awesome. There's an energy bus for kids. I've gifted it to several of my friends' kids that say like, oh, my kid's like giving me attitude about this, or they just are feeling like their kid needs a little bit of positive energy. So anyway, that's a little bit of a tangent right there, but just putting it out to the universe, because that is part of my word, you guys. I'm putting things out. I'm just not afraid to say it. I would not normally say that. I would not normally be like, I want to have John Gordon on my podcast in public on my podcast. But I'm saying it because I want to have him, and I think he'd be a great guest. So the word, think about your word if you don't have one already. If you are listening to this podcast, you are part of our community, okay? So I know there's like, you might think like, oh, it's just the people that work out with you. No, it's not. No, my mission in life is to help anybody that wants to live a healthier, happier life with their fitness, with their nutrition, with their mindset. I don't know exactly what I do, but all I know is I'm very passionate about it and I want to help people. So you don't have to work out with me to share your word. I would love to know your word. I had several people last year from the outside share it, and this year I want even more. And I really take those words seriously. Like I'll go back and look at them, and I'll sometimes remind people, even do little things for people with their word, try to use it in class. Last year I printed it out, so I had those words. And I would just try to help people remember what their word was, especially if they were needing a little bit of extra TLC. So I think the words are really powerful. The power of the word was apparent to me this year. So we were having Thanksgiving dinner with my cousin Jan and his beautiful family, and we were talking about our words, and I was kind of implying what I wanted my word to be, which is exactly the same thing, like to stop playing it so safe and to be a little more bold and risk. Risk is perfect. I'm like, oh my God, yes, I love that word, risk. It's simple, it's easy, it's perfect. So the very next day, I'm at my fitness studio. I'm sorry if I already told this story on the podcast, but I'm at my fitness. I've told it a lot of times. I'm at my fitness studio. I'm actually doing dude camp. So I'm with the guys, and I had to be partners with one of the guys because there was an uneven number, and we were doing the horse pull, and I was wearing the weighted vest because we were doing this MEP challenge for one of my members, and I fell pretty hard. And I was like, okay, I don't want the word risk. That's like, yesterday I came up with risk, and today I'm falling. I don't want risk. So that's when I had to kind of go back to the drawing board, and that's how I came up with Audacious. I'd love to know your word. Think about your word. We've had some great stories from our community this year about how well words have served. I'll use my newest instructor. So we have a new teammate he'll start in January, but he got his credentials this month, and he's been working really hard, and I'm really excited to share 10 more with the community. And I asked in class the other day, like, who had a word that really served him? And he said his word for 2025 was yes. And when we were talking, it was a mutual conversation about him becoming a trainer. And I said to him when we were talking about it, I said, Ted, are you doing this just for me because you think I need help? Or are you doing this because this is something that you really want to do? And he's like, both. I'm like, perfect. You are a guy. So here he is. But his word was yes. So as we were having that conversation, he's like, yes, I'll do it. It's an investment. The NASM certification is expensive. It is a ton of studying, and it's a lot. It's not easy. And he has a full-time job, never missed a workout. He's got a family. He's got travels. Kids are now living in different places, so he travels to see his kids. He doesn't have a light schedule, but this dude got it done. He said yes. He also said yes to some trips that he would not normally take, hiking, doing fun stuff. And he said the word was perfect for him. So another conversation that we had in our community is sometimes we don't pick the right word. Sometimes our word doesn't serve us. Sometimes we think it's the right thing, but we don't. Like, I think it's when people pick a word like they feel like they should pick it. Like commitment is a great word, but I've had a lot of people this year say like commitment, I need to be more committed or dedicated it's a great word, but it's got to mean something to you. It's got to be really specific. Like you can't just say my word's commitment. You have to say my word's commitment because it's really important that I get my health in check. And I know if I'm committed to my workouts and my nutrition, you have to have a why behind your word. It just can't be a random word. So one year my word was focus. My word should be focus every year. But and I did get better at focus that year. But so I felt like there was just so much I wanted to do. And I was like, if I could just be more dialed in on the times I'm doing the things that I don't necessarily love, but I have to do, if I could just be more focused, then I'll get to do more of the other things. So that was my why behind that word. It wasn't like, oh, Kelly, you're so distracted and you're not doing a good job of finishing what you started and you need to focus. That's not how I talked to myself about that word. I talked to myself like, focus, Kelly, because if you do this, then you can do this. It was positive. We had that conversation in our meeting today, positive coaching. I do not think anybody responds well to negative coaching. I don't think anyone responds well to, you suck at that. You need to try harder. You need to focus, Kelly, because if you do this, then you can do this. It was positive. We had that conversation in our meeting today, positive coaching. I do not think anybody responds well to negative coaching. I don't think anyone responds well to, you suck at that. You need to try harder. That's not, I am going to shut down. I am not, maybe like if it's someone that I want to prove wrong, maybe I'll be like, go the other way, but it's just not how I want to coach. It's not how I want to be coached. It's not how I want my kids to be coached or led or mentored. I believe in truth, authenticity, but finding the positive. And if it's a negative, you just say, yeah, my guy today I was talking to and his weight's up. I'm like, we got to get the weight off, but you're still working out and you're so strong. And there's positives too. Like, it's okay. Like, there's always a positive. And I'm not just saying that to like make him feel better. He is working out. He is so strong. We just got to get the weight off. Okay. You got to keep it real. Oh, I'm glad I just said that because she's actually an instructor. She was cracking me up at another meeting that we had this week. Gloria was talking about her word real. And apparently her friends are like, you're really real, Gloria. You don't need that word. You say what you think. You do what you want. You're real. And Gloria's like, well, watch me be more real. And I just love that because for her, it was already like firing her up. It was like a little bit of a shift in like identity or mindset or thought. And it's, in some ways, it's permission, right? It's permission to be like, this is what I want more of. And this is my word. So I have permission to do that. The words are great. You have to keep trying. If you've done a word 10 years in a row and it hasn't worked, I think number 11 is going to be your year. But again, it needs to go back to your why. You need to share it with people. You need to have a way to be accountable to it. We do in our classes, I'll ask people like throughout the year, what's your word? How's it serving you? Do you think you need to change it? So it is important to do that. If you just think of a word in the beginning of the year and be like, oh, that's my word, that's my theme word, that's my theme. No, it doesn't work. You've got to put more layers in it. You've got to put more layers. So think of how you can use it, share it with your family. Oh my gosh. So last night at dinner, we shared our words and I'm going to tell you, I was so proud of my family and the girls, and Rhiannon and Maddie. I thought they had great words. One of my sons, I won't say who, was trying to be funny and he said his word was bread pudding, but it's really not. So that's my joke that you got to tell my community. I'm like, you can't take bread pudding because it's already taken. And I don't know, you could have fun with that word for some reason, but no, well, their words were really good. Lindsay and Andrew are both, Andrew's is tranquil, which I'm like laughing because mine's audacious and it's just so typical for us, but it will work because that's what works, right? You got to do the yin and the yang. Lindsay's was zen. I think she says she gets stressed and anxious and sometimes she feels like, I don't even know why I'm stressed. And it's like, I could relate to that. I'm like, yes, I can relate to that. So I thought that was a great word. And those are really, I'm sure for her being at college and this semester is going to be a little bit more intense for her. I'm hoping that word serves her. I am so excited for this podcast for the new year. And I know this is a solo and it's a little bit random and I'm kind of just all over the place, but I had to kind of dump this out to you to tell you that I am taking the podcast up a notch. And I want to have, I shared with you earlier, I want to have some guests of people that I would just love to talk to. And in order to do that, in order to get people like that, I need a little bit more of an audience. So I need to work on growing my podcast. I need to work on growing my audience and my reach. And I would love suggestions from you. Because if you listen to this point of the podcast, you are my person. And I would just love to know what really serves you. I know you love anything nutrition. I know you love anything like tips and advice. I know you love hearing stories, but maybe there's other stuff that you love. Maybe there's a guest that you feel like, oh, Kelly, you should have this person on. They would be awesome. It doesn't have to be somebody that works out in our community, okay? The idea is like maybe that they're connected in some way, like maybe it's somebody I admire or somebody in our community admires. There's really no, I love to have diverse conversations, but going back to my why for why I'm doing this podcast is I do want it to be inspirational and educational. I don't want it to feel like stressful, like too much feeling like it's something where I want it to feel lighter, but I also want to have tidbits of like, oh yeah, that's good. And I know when I'm a podcast junkie. If you don't know, I am a true podcast junkie. And I know when I listen to podcasts, it changes my headspace. I actually literally think right before I'm going to choose what I listen to, like certain voices I like and certain energies I like. And I just think like, what do I need right now? Like sometimes I'll do like Peter Attia, and that's like, I just want to be like, feel like I know more and I want to be educated. And sometimes I'll do Rachel Hollis. I just think I like her. She's light and she's funny, and the girl's been through a lot and she's very resilient. I loved her book, and sometimes she's just fun to listen to. So to me, it's really what you need at the moment. I also listen to Brock Johnson. He is for social media. He's like growing your social media, and he just talks about Instagram a mile a minute and gives so much information. I'm like, oh my gosh! If you Google Brock Johnson, he'll come right up. It's a really good podcast. All right, guys. Well, I want to say thank you for listening to the end. I want to say Happy New Year, and I want to say I'm here to serve. So don't think, oh gosh, I really need a little direction or I really need help. I'm not going to ask Kelly. She's too busy. I'm not too busy. That's what lights me up the most. That's why I'm so lit up this week. Even though I'm tired, I'm lit up because I got to have a lot of real conversations with people that are searching for change, searching for the next level, trying to up their health. And I love that. That lights me up. That to me is really meaningful. That's a great use of my time. And I was really proud of them because I forced them to not tell me about the cookies that they ate. I know they ate cookies. I don't need to know about the cookies they ate. I wanted to hear about all of the good habits they had throughout the year. What good things did you do nutrition? What new recipe did you have? What new food did you introduce? One of my long-term members who's a picky eater, self-proclaimed picky eater, tried mahi-mahi and loved it. I'm like, that's so exciting. I just love hearing these little things. It doesn't have to be like these big things. And we talked about fitness, like what's going great with your fitness. A lot of people were talking about consistency. They were talking about strength. They were talking about using people in the studio, like if they needed an extra push, that they talked about Tina, the one that I was just talking about with the fish, that they look at Tina. We're so much alike, when we have these conversations, it's men, women, it's ages all over the map, and we're so much alike. We're so much alike. And I think it actually helps people to listen to other people just as much as it does to share. And people are comfortable sharing. It's like they kind of know that's expected. But if they didn't want to share, then it would be no big deal. I'd be like, yeah, I just won't call you out. Anyway, Happy New Year. And I can't wait to talk to you next week and have I'm going to have probably, I don't know exactly who, but probably somebody from the fitness industry next week to talk a little bit of shop, because I know everyone's dialed into their workouts and we want to up that. We want to help you get the most out of your time. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Start Before You're Ready. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend who might need a little motivation. Ready to start your own journey? Check out our workouts and nutrition coaching programs at kellysbootcamp.net. You can choose from in-person sessions or virtual programs. Set up a complimentary coaching session to get started. Follow along with me and the show on social media at Kellys_bootcamp. Until next time, this is Kelly Young reminding you that the best time to start is always now.